Good evening, good Sunday evening. Welcome to another edition of the Houston Roundball Review presents Folks Talking Sports. I am KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. Joining me should not be a stranger to some of you who are dedicated followers of the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. None other than Adolphus AD Moore from the AD Max Korner. How are you, AD?
Mr. KG, Chris, how are you? Doing great, man. How's everything going, man? I know you I know you hooping it up, man. I'm pretty sure. I'm surprised you're not sitting up there with two basketballs spinning on your fingers right about now, man. You deep down into the NBA playoffs and everything, man. Except your Detroit Pistons not in there, but I'm sure you surviving it.
That was to be expected. That was no surprise at all. None whatsoever. None at all. We're going to talk. AD's going to talk some Texans Tony MC. See that, AD? People know who you are.
Oh, okay.
See you talking Texans.
Yeah. Hey, Tony. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
So, yep. In fact, Tony, let's see if I can do it. Tony, this is for you, Tony.
Oh.
How about that? There we go. So I hope that came through pretty clear.
Oh, it came through crystal clear for me. I see Jamon already throwing this question out there. And I'm going like, really?
Yeah, that's why I got you on, AD. So, yep, Jamon, here you are. And we're going to bring in Mr. Willy Gibson in a moment. Looks like he's trying to figure things out. Maybe he's on his phone. I hope Mr. Gibson, we'll talk about him and his Cavaliers in a moment. He said he can't hear us.
Tell him the score. Tell him he don't need to hear. The score speaks for itself.
Yeah, well, real quick. Will, let me see. So you say you can't hear us?
Hey, yeah.
Can you hear us now? No. Well, reset, Will. Reset, because we got to talk to you about the Cavs. So restart, reboot, something. I don't know. Will, it seems to have Will has an issue when another person with different buds comes in. I don't know. It's just one of those strange quirks, but he'll figure it out. All right, AD, there it is for you, Jamon. Curious to hear what y'all think about the Texans potentially taking Will. Was that Levi's? What was that?
Will Levis. Will Levis out of Kentucky. Jamon, I'm not to insult you or anything, but why?
Well, that's really, why. Hey, that's why we got you on here today. Man.
No, not at the second player in the overall draft. No, heck no. I'll go ahead. I was up in Real Deal Sports yesterday up in Rochester in the Buffalo area,
right?
And the first question asked me, who are the Texans going with? And I'll be inside on YouTube. I'm gonna have to lie about it. They can go out there on the Real Deal Sports and watch it on YouTube from yesterday. And like I explained then, I'm not gonna be verbose about it. I can sit up here and just prognosticate and give you all this demographics and all this other stuff. I don't know who Nick Caserio has. Haven't seen their draft boards, but I'll put it like this: Bryce Young's first, CJ Stroud second. After that, it's gonna fall Will Anderson, and however the rest of the folks' draft board is gonna fall. The question now becomes, Nick Caserio ideally would like to get his quarterback and still fall out of that second pick, that second spot. If somebody would come and dance with Nick, ideally he would like to do that. But you know what? This is the NFL. Nobody's getting ready to do you a favor. We realize that Bryce Young's going to the Carolina Panthers, and CJ Stroud's going second. And after that, we'll see. It could be Will Anderson. I've seen a lot of prognostications, a lot of folks hyperventilating that, they might just pass on the quarterback and get Will Anderson. As great a player as Will Anderson might appear on the collegiate level, Will Anderson does not get the snap, does not take the ball on the snap every down when the Texans go on offense. I had a Freudian slip. I almost said all this. But when it's time for the Texans to be on offense, they need to strike. The Texans need to strike and need to strike fast, quick, and proficiently. And they need somebody who can get it done and get the job done. I think Mr. Gibson can can really he can be a character witness as far as this kid CJ is concerned. But far as I'm concerned, CJ.
Ready, Will?
I am.
All right.
I mean, Will can jump in here. I mean, everybody saw the question in this kid's character and everything. And far as I'm concerned, this kid is just as solid as Bryce Young as anybody else. And his body of work speaks for itself. Yes, I know the Ohio State quarterbacks overall has not had a great track record overall, but I think this kid, he could very well be the one to break the mold and set everything on the right path as far as the Ohio State Buckeyes. Will, you jump in there.
Yeah.
Hold on real quick, Will. AD, and remind me again, the second pick, the question was about Will Levis?
Will Levis out of Kentucky.
Okay, so you're saying if I do this, would you concur? Is that the wrong answer? Is Will Levis the wrong answer at number 2 for the Texans?
No, no. Here's the wrong answer. Hell no. That's the right. No, he's not the right. No. And I mean, come on. That's hyperbole. That's a lot of stuff going on. What Brady Quinn's out here. They don't have the other test that they used to take. Now they got a different test out there, and now everybody's trying to say that this particular profile test, the psychological profile test, that he has scored, blah blah blah. Well, number one, it's not supposed to be public, but we all know better. We've been knowing about these guys, test scores. So I mean, if that's what you want, if you want somebody that's scored like on a Mensa test, then go find you somebody out of Princeton or somewhere. Not that the Ohio State is having to take a background as far as their graduate is concerned. But this young man, as far as I'm concerned, C.J. Stroud will have a Texans uniform on. He would be the second player in the draft taken.
Will, you got it. As we bring in Andy. Go ahead, Will.
I agree. So I would start with this: 25 starts, 8,412 yards, 85 touchdowns, 12 interceptions in 25 games. Or if you want to bring up the question of his character, does a person with a lack of character get an NIL deal with a clothing company and then proceeds to buy the entire team a suit so the entire team could look good on game day? Doesn't seem like somebody that has a low quality character to me. But it's Lion season. We all know that. It's Lion season. It's the week before the draft, and everybody has their agenda, whether it's media personalities that have a relationship with a particular agent or a marketing guy, and say, hey, can you make sure my guy gets up a little further and bring this guy down a little further? Or GM. I mean, I just heard Isaiah Thomas last week talk about how he was the person behind the criticisms of Kevin Garnett pre-draft because he wanted Kevin Garnett to fall to 7.
Yep. And
he ended up going 5 to Minnesota. So we know what happens. And this is just another example of that. But CJ Stroud is by far probably the most high quality character person I've seen at Ohio State in quite some time. I mean, you ask anyone, and that's not me with my scarlet and gray glasses on. That's just real. I mean, because it is what it is. I mean, we all know that everybody has a high quality character, but this kid has a high quality character, bar none, without question. And it's kind of disheartening to see the criticism and the vitriol that's been spread about him. But what is it? If you know, you know. So it is what it is. But I agree with AD on Thursday night. The Texans should be running to the podium with the card that says C.J. Stroud, quarterback, The Ohio State University.
All right. Before we get Andy's comments on that, so for all three of you on this edition of Folks Talking Sports, which I think we'll go ahead and have this episode sent to the BS3 Network on Roku as well. So if the Texans do not select C.J. Stroud at number 2, will the reaction of the fans be this? or this?
Yeah, new sound effects going on. Oh no, it's the first one. I'm gonna take leadership here. It's got to be number one. If they don't take a quarterback, is running it back with Case Keenum and Davis Mills. They cannot do that. They cannot do that. They brought in Case Keenum here to be a veteran for presumably a top quarterback. And I just don't see it. I know the smoke and mirrors is there. Nick Caserio is he is the master at saying nothing with 1,000 words. I mean, but my goodness, there's no way. And if Carolina takes Bryce Young at number one, you got to go with a quarterback. You got to go with a quarterback, and it has to be C.J. Stroud. I know that Anthony Richardson's gotten a lot of buzz. There's no way. You cannot take Anthony Richardson with the number 2 overall pick in this year's draft. You can't take Will Levis with the number 2 overall pick in this year's draft. It's either C.J. Stroud or you're going to have all the goodwill that they've been able to rebuild with the fan base when they hired DeMeco Ryans, and it's going to go out the window if they do not take C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young, whichever of the two is available at number 2 overall. Even if they take Will Anderson, it'll be a tough sell for the fan base.
Do y'all agree with Andy's assessment right there?
No, it goes without saying, man. Come on. Here's the bottom line, man. You can't go back. You can't go sell this. I don't care who. Andy, it's kind of ironic that you mentioned with the Nick Caserio with his work. I had to call him out. I called him out on his word salad after the.
That was good, Andy. That was good.
Yeah, I literally called him out after when they had the press conference after firing Lovie Smith, and I basically just said, "Hey, nice word salad, Nick, but bottom line, nobody in this city trusts you to pull the trigger now. Not on the third time. This is the trifecta, and can you get this right? Well, so far, we see that in DeMeco Ryan, everybody is upbeat, euphoric. Everybody is just like going rah. But I tell you what, this is almost like tying an anchor around his neck and then dropping it into a bottomless pit. And you think if somebody gonna go down there and reach and take that anchor off his neck now? If Will Levis come in here, are you kidding me? In fact, that first crowd, I'll put it like this. Let's go get the noise. Let's go get the noise from the January 6th riot. I think that would be more the noise than what should be up there.
Okay. Y'all are talking sense, but Nick Caserio, I mean, his track record is not great when it comes to drafting. Are all three of y'all, and hell, Jamon, No Salt, everybody tuning in on Folk Talk Sports, on Twitter, YouTube, are y'all willing to guarantee that Caserio won't muck up the second pick in the draft on Thursday?
I'm not in the room. I'm not the one. I haven't seen. I don't have to see the full complete draft board. But even let me put it like this, and I don't want to disparage. I don't want to disparage folks that have shortcomings with memory losses and everything else. But you know what? Let's put it like this. I put it like this. Ray Charles and everybody else could look up on that draft board and see if anybody else different than that. Something is terribly wrong. Can I guarantee it? No, because I don't have a say-so in what names on that.
Come on, AD. Come on.
No.
I
can't guarantee you anything. Only thing I can guarantee you is I will be there present. And if it's not, guess what you're going to hear come out of NRG Stadium after that pick is announced.
Andy, you guarantee it. I'm ready for the clip. I'm ready to play it. Who's going to guarantee Nick Caserio gets it right at number 2?
I can't guarantee it. Going back to
that says a lot about Nick Caserio, man. That says a lot.
And it's not even about Nick Caserio. It's just about the Texans overall. Going back to the interview that we had on Pot Slam Jam with Parker Jenkins and how he said he still reps the Houston Texans, who's going to be like one of the upcoming signees for Houston that's going to play next season. That just shows he's loyal. I mean, especially the last few years, there's nothing that you can guarantee with the Texans, but I'll guarantee that coming out of this weekend, they'll have a new quarterback. I can't guarantee they'll take Stroud number 2 or whoever falls number 2.
Will, you want to guarantee it?
Kind of similar to Andy. I just thought about something. I don't want to guarantee it because I can't guarantee that Carolina won't take him at 1. Because here's the thing that I don't know a lot of people know. David Mugoleta has both C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. So everyone is focused on the fact that Bryce Young canceled his pre-draft visits. And from there, they deduce, oh, well, Carolina must have given him a guarantee. I don't know. I don't know that to be the case. So I don't know that C.J. Stroud still is in the mix for Carolina at 1. I do know they had a great contingent here for Pro Day. I do know that he and Josh McCown had a great rapport during that time. I know he went to Charlotte for the pre-draft visit. I don't know that again because it's Lions season. I don't know what's going to happen. So I can't say that C.J. Stroud won't go number 1 to Carolina.
Okay, I'm going to turn it around for you guys as a point by J-Mon. I mean, that's true. Nick Caserio was about to hire Josh McCown as head coach. So, all right. I'm going to try to do it this way to see if anybody gives me a guarantee. Can anyone guarantee that Nick Caserio will get it right?
From what
define getting it right.
Yeah.
A quarterback at number 2.
It has to be a quarterback. In my opinion, it has to be a quarterback. Cal and them cannot literally stand back and not look at what Mills, that production. Everybody thought Mills regressed this past season. He
definitely did.
He regressed. Now, it wasn't. He didn't regress. A lot of it had to do with just a lot of different things that they just did not work out right as far as the Texans was concerned. But it is plain as obvious as the nose on my face that there's a quarterback issue with the Houston Texans, and it has to be addressed, and it has to be addressed forthrightly now. And if you do not address it if you want this fan base to continue that line of goodwill that you had with DeMeco Ryan, I tell you what, you want to see it cut off like yesterday, and you can mess around there and draft somebody Thursday night and let Roger Goodell announce the Houston Texans take on the second pick take someone else other than a Bryce Young or CJ Stroud and see what happens.
All right. Well, what about trading? Enlighten me, because football is not my thing anymore. It may return once good news out of DC happens, but until that happens, I don't care about the NFL. But how many first round picks do the Texans have?
2.
Where's the second one?
12.
From Cleveland.
That's right. So they can't draft Richardson at 12, quarterback?
No.
That won't be good enough?
No.
No.
No. Are you kidding me? Come on, man. I mean, this is a family show on Sunday afternoon.
How you really feel? I'm just asking, AD.
This is a family show. I mean, Will already
have more than one need.
Right? Will didn't go far enough as far as David Mugoleta is concerned. Remember, the quarterback that left out of here and they went to Cleveland that's also his pick as well.
Right.
Yep. So let's face it. You know, the Texans been embarrassed by going and coming. They don't have a choice right now. You just got to deal with the hand that brung you. This is the dance card that's given to you right now. Forget about it. Hey, David Mugoleta is not going to be here quarterbacking. He is the agent. He's going to get his 3% regardless of wherever his player's going to get drafted at. But I tell you what, regardless, if one of them are not drafted here, there's going to be chaos on Kirby. Period.
Can I start the pot a little bit?
Please do.
Let's say CJ doesn't go there at 2. Let's say CJ doesn't go 1, doesn't go 2, doesn't go 3, and CJ goes 4 to Indianapolis in the AFC South. Then what?
Well,
Texans fans, J-Mon, Tony, what would y'all do in that scenario?
Well, I'll guarantee you in that scenario that C.J. Stroud will be the best quarterback in the draft that will haunt the Texans for the next 20 years if he does fall to the Indianapolis Colts. My goodness, you can't allow that to happen. And like AD said, that's the need. You need to take a quarterback. And going back to the original question, which you said, am I confident that the Texans will get it right? Who knows? They lost that position to be able to get it right when they beat the Colts in the last game of the regular season, so they don't have their top pick of the litter. They're essentially are on. They're waiting to see what Carolina does and who they take number one.
Okay, I'm tossing things out here on Folks Talking Sports because I got three guys who know more about football than I do. But don't the Texans have more than one need? Can't they? Devil's advocate. Let's say they get a great trade offer for the number 2 pick.
You mean Lamar Jackson?
Whatever. How about that? Okay, let's go with that scenario.
Let me put it like this. Unless it's Lamar Jackson coming in here. Now, here's the thing. Who are you getting ready to restructure your whole offense to make it conducive for Lamar Jackson's offense like the Ravens have? I mean, look at this team as the way it is constructed now.
Mm-hmm.
The Texans have so many holes that really, you basically gonna have to take a lot of more of those draft picks and a lot of those 12 picks. At least 5 or 6 of them have to be defensive players because you got to address your defensive line, you got to address your secondary, and you darn sure got to address your linebackers. Let's face it, to me, that was probably one of the weaknesses as far as this team is concerned this past season. The linebackers did not get in there and fill a hole. They did not get in there and back it up like I thought they should have. That's a weakness as far as I'm concerned. The Texans linebackers, they need to shore that up.
You said the Texans have a lot of needs. So why not trade the 2nd pick and get 4 picks?
Chris, what did I say in the opening? Nobody's getting ready to jump up here and do the Texans any favors. Because don't think Nick Caserio has not working the phone. Don't think he's calling around. And because the thing about it, Nick's calling other folks. But everybody knows that the Texans a quarterback. But here's the other thing. All right, exactly how many places do you fall down and still be able to get your player that you really need? You have to address the QB problem. That's numero uno. I don't care what anybody else says or anything about it. Will Anderson, all that nice young man, tenacious and everything else. You got plenty of tenacious guys out there. Is it in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round? And to me, that's where the Texans are going to have to really just jump in there because the backside of those 12 picks that they have, beside those first 2, remember the Texans got I think the first 3 picks in the first set, 3 picks in the first 75 players. Every last one of those guys going to have to stick and they're going to have to play. They're going to have to come out there and flat out play.
Okay. Tony M says Houston for life, but the Texans lost him a while back, trying to make his way back. Andy, this is for you. Because the Texans have so many needs, why not trade, or you can pick up Richardson at the 12th pick, and then later on in the draft the former Cougar quarterback. Clayton Tune. Well, how about Clayton Tune? Investing him. How about that, Andy?
That's not addressing the need, Chris. That's I guess if by the definition you're taking people at that position. Anthony Richardson and Clayton Tune are not the answer to lead your team, your franchise.
Clayton Tune's name won't get called till Saturday.
Correct. Hey,
yeah,
I know that. I know that much. I'm just
here's the thing, Chris, and the Anthony Richardson one is the real one because the Texans need someone that can come in here from a fan perspective. They want someone that can come in here and be starter day one. And my personal opinion, Richardson and certainly Clayton Tune are not guys that you can throw in there week 1. And I don't care. You can't sell the franchise. You can't sell the organization. Case Keenum or Davis Mills started week 1. It has to be one of these young quarterbacks. And if they do decide to punt, and here's the thing: if they decide to punt and trade back, like AD mentioned, Indianapolis is sitting right there at 4. They're waiting. They're waiting for that opportunity. And the thing, well, one, Nick Caserio, whoever he picks, whatever he does to address a quarterback, it's tied to his job. You'd imagine he's not going to get another opportunity if he gets it wrong again this draft. But two, the Colts are right there. And heck, Tennessee might be looking to get up in this draft too. You have 2 division foes. It looks like the Jaguars have their guy in Trevor Lawrence. If they get their quarterback before you, it's unacceptable. And the fans will just be they've already, for the past 20 plus years of existence of the franchise, for most of it, they've been wallowing in the fact that other teams in the division have had their quarterback, especially Indianapolis when they had Peyton Manning and then Andrew Luck for all those years that just torched the Texans season in each and every single season. You have the opportunity.
I hear what you guys are saying.
Take your guy. And
I'm having fun being the devil's advocate here. And Will,
the
Texans have sucked for so long.
Tell us how you really feel, Chris.
Nick Caserio has been a part of that for the recent past. Who's to say he gets it right? Because he's been bad for so long. And they could say, what if ownership says, we gave him D'Amico Ryans? That's enough goodwill right there. We brought him back. I don't care what they say. Nick, you go draft, player X. Whatever. How about that, Will? What not that possibility?
That's poor ownership. That's poor leadership. If that happens,
and then that's the Texans, right? Isn't that the Texans?
Well, AD can attest to that more, but there have been reports. AD, I don't think Cal would do that. What say you?
Let me tell you. Let me. It's not so much Cal. There's another person. This last coaching selection, Janice McNair, Cal's wife, had a big hand in that selection. Okay. Prior to the prior picks, and I put that clip I read. It was about and I interviewed her right after they introduced D'Amico Ryans, and Chris might remember it was out there. In fact, it's out there on Twitter. Y'all can go back and look at it. She had a lot more to say about that pick, and I'm gonna tell you why. At the time when they announced when Cal and Nick make the announcement about the firing of Lovie Smith and everything, she was sitting right next to me, and I was sitting next to her. And and she turned it, and we had probably about a 20 or 25-minute conversation one-on-one about the franchise. And at that point, and then we had I'm talking about an in-depth. I mean, because she didn't know me from Adam and Vice. I knew who she was and so forth. But when they announced that D'Amico was the coach and everything, I had another long, and I interviewed her, and to me, I give a lot of this credit to her because she was in the room for all the interviews. She was there, and the fact of the matter remains. Let me tell you something. It's something about that female intuition and the fact that she basically said, "We are going to get this right, and we are going to win."
Okay.
All right.
We see that right there. AD, you got a fan.
That.
You got a fan from No Salt. Will.
Yep.
Now
ownership that cares.
It's time to make fun of you, Brother Gibson, as the man from Ohio.
Okay.
Man who covers the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yep.
What's the mood of the franchise now after what happened today in Madison Square Garden?
Oh, they're naturally down. I mean, they lost. They're down 3-1. But I will say this franchise is right where they need to be. It's levels to this, as the kids say. I mean, last year was the play-in tournament. This year, they made the playoffs. They were a 4 seed, home court advantage. It's matchups in the playoffs because you know that. Everybody know that. And they had problems with the Knicks all year long. I would venture to say, and not just because the Sixers swept them yesterday, but the Nets would have been a by far better matchup for this Cavs team in the first round. And it's just matchups. I mean, it's one thing to have matchups. We have 18 hours to prepare for a team. But when you have, for 2 weeks, you're focused only on this team, and Tom Thibodeau is your coach, I mean, they haven't scored 100 points in 3 to 4 games. That this Cavs team doesn't do that, but it's Tom Thibodeau, the defensive strategist, the defensive mastermind. And by the way, the Knicks just have better talent. 1 through 5, I would venture to say is pretty even, but 6 through 12, by far the Knicks have the superior second unit and beyond, and it's showing. And I think Kobe Altman has a lot to do in this offseason that could start as early as Wednesday, or Thursday for that matter, to bring in reinforcements for the second unit, because that's where this series is being lost. I mean, Donovan Mitchell had a bad game today, but this second unit.
How about this, Will?
Yeah.
Is J-Mon correct? Is JB in trouble?
No. I mean, let fans tell you he's been in trouble since game 1 in October. I mean, in his rotations, his substitution patterns, his lack of adjustments, but nobody seemed to give him credit for his halftime adjustments today. No one said one word, but they've been criticizing him from day one. I don't think he's in trouble. Again, this team is where they should be. They're in the first round of the playoffs. Last year, they made the play-in. This year, they made the first round. Now, it's on Kobe Altman, Mike Gansey, their staff, to bring in, because Robin Lopez clearly wasn't the answer, and they need a backup center. Now the question is Jared Allen the right guy? Well, Jared Allen's been the right guy all year, but now in the playoffs, oh, he's too soft. Oh, he's this, he's that. No, he just needs a backup. He's played 70-some games, 60-plus games, without a true backup. Evan Mobley was his de facto backup, but Evan Mobley's his running mate.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just need to get a true, serviceable backup center that can give you 15, 20 minutes a night on a consistent basis.
Andy, this is for you. Any word on Quentin Grimes?
I do not have any word on Quentin Grimes, but he was sidelined with a shoulder injury, correct? That he bumped in in game 3. Hopefully he's good to go come game 5 and later on in the series, because he's been a key contributor for the Knicks in the whole season.
I like that, Andy. You said later on in the series, so it's not over Wednesday. I like
well, game 5, potentially game 6, and then in the second round once the series is over.
I got a question, guys. Let me ask. Name me one Rocket fan would love to be sitting here right now in the Cavaliers spot. Name me one.
Might be someone here watching right now. Well,
I mean, you know what? I guarantee you right now, and let's face it, the Rockets. What's interesting about the Rockets team? Remember, and I'm probably getting ready to regurgitate some stuff, but you basically asked Silas to go take a team of some guys who were 18 years old who still had Infamil and breast milk still on their milk, on their breath, and you asked them to go out there and play against men 25 and 26. And these guys still, they've been pampered playing from AAU, and all of a sudden now, these guys got to come out here and play with men, and it's just not happening. It's a maturity game. So whoever's going to be the beneficiary of this, of this Rockets team, somebody going to come in here and sit on a gold mine with another couple of players. And guess what? We'll probably be sitting here next year, and we want to go at Will and say, Will, this is for you. We want to laugh at the Cavaliers. Hell, I got a bunch of Rocket folks right now would probably want to be like, hell, I'd rather be at the Cavaliers spot right now than be sitting up here going, we won 20 games.
Well,
Are you kidding me?
I'll say this. Jackson Gallen and I Saturday on Let's Talk Houston Rockets, almost 2 hours of talk with Rocket fans yesterday. Some of them on the show right now, like No Salt. Jackson and I both said that Ime Udoka will be our pick for Rockets head coach. We believe Toronto might get Udoka before the Rockets hire Ime. But Jackson said, and this is where I'll get everybody in, even with a new head coach, the win total prediction for next year would change, of course, if they brought in James Harden, because a whole nother level of talent right there. Whether you
what Wait a minute. Change.
Hold on. The win total would change because James is a better player than anybody on the Rockets. Still, even the older James, still better than anybody on the Rockets right now. But without James, 25 to 30 wins. New head coach, even getting Wemby with the first pick. With James, 35 wins. Roughly 35, a little bit more. 25 to 30 is better than this year. It's not a play-in. 35 would be right around play-in border. So what are your thoughts on even if they bring in a new head coach, Udoka, Frank Vogel, Nick Nurse, I think is probably the leader now in the clubhouse, and they win 30 games next year. That's an improvement. Is that better from the fan base perspective, from you guys' perspective?
I have a question. So yes, 30 games with Nick Nurse.
Mm-hmm.
Would Stephen Silas been capable of winning 30 games next year?
If you ask the fan base, they'll say no.
Yeah. Everybody on here will say no. Everybody on here will say no.
Okay. That's why I was asking, because I'm listening like, well, man, 30 wins. They had 20 this year. So what's the 10 wins? Stephen Silas,
So that means all right, you asking for 10 more victories, and the season starts in October, and so that means they'll pick up 2 additional wins every month for 5 months. That's basically what it averages out to.
Yeah.
You think the buying public is going to pay for that? Think they'll be satisfied with that? If you're asking me, I'm going to tell you right now, hell no, I'm not going to be satisfied with that.
Well, it'd be 8 more wins because they won 22 this year. So.
Okay, well, 8 more. All right. Oh, so we got 8 wins over 5 months. That's 8 to get to 30. So that means you got to win roughly a game and a half over the next for a 5-month NBA season, and that's supposed to be satisfied this fan base when the last championship is 30 years. 30 years ago.
J-Mon says Silas could have won more games with better talent. Tony M says he would have kept Silas for that slight win-loss improvement. So they're going on with you guys. No Saul just says no. He wasn't a great coach. And all right, hold on. I'm reading this last part of your comment. Double the Rocket wins, as in to get to 44. Oh no.
With this iteration of the Rockets, no.
They'd have to bring in Harden and Jaylen Brown, for that to, and Udoka for that to get to 44 wins. And I'm not even sure that would happen, but that's what would have to happen for that. In that case, that scenario, to double their win total. That's a lot of money to bring in with Harden and Jaylen Brown. Anything's possible, but that's what it would take for them to get from 22 to 44 wins.
I got a question, guys. Mm-hmm. Does everybody seriously think James Harden gonna walk back in here and gonna be the difference in 15 to 20 games for the Rockets?
He'd be from 22 to 35. James could do that.
I'm not gonna walking back in there. Me and also caveat, if they win the lottery, okay, and get Victor Wembanyama. So that's a part of it. But James Harden will make the Rockets better. Y'all can't. He's still the best player. He'd be the best player on his team. Sure. Right or wrong?
Okay. Is that saying a whole lot?
Well, he still put him numbers in Philly.
It's not.
He led the league.
This is Philly, man. Look at what he's playing with. Come on, this is.
Maybe I'm
watching
the Rockets better.
I'm watching a different game than you basketball aficionado. Maybe I'm just looking at a different James Harden because I'm going like I'm seeing some young guys jump inside of James Harden. That foul he got ejected for, I thought that was BS. But this is not the same James Harden that left here, man. He's a step and a half slower.
No question, but he still would be the best player on this team for the next 2 years.
Okay, so we're gonna line up. We're gonna go back to lining up 4 people on the baseline, and James gonna come down and do his European step, and he gonna do his step back and throw a 3 up. That's what we gonna be looking for.
Who owns the team? Who owns the team?
I don't.
Okay.
If James Harden comes back, there's no way they'd revert back to ISO ball. There's no way.
I don't understand.
According to who?
I don't know about that. Go ahead, Will.
According to who, Andy? According to
No
who,
way.
Andy?
I don't understand
It
that.
just makes no sense.
Go
There's
ahead,
no
Will.
way
Go ahead,
you can relegate Jabari Smith
what-
and Jalen Green to ISO players.
No one has convinced me of that yet. Why would James is 6 days away from playing in the Eastern Conference semifinals?
Mhm.
He's playing basketball in May. He's not waiting for May 16th in the draft lottery. He's playing basketball in May. Matter of fact, the lottery may lead into a game that features James Harden. So why would James Harden? Yes, he's a free agent, but what's the incentive for James Harden to come to a perennial lottery team? I don't understand.
It's H-Town.
It's love for Houston. Will.
It's town.
It's his home. It's his home.
home.
His love for he loved Houston so much he quit on him just to get the hell out of here. And all of a sudden we want to embrace him.
Thank you.
Again?
No, we don't want to embrace him. I'm again
That's a different
saying,
conversation. Why he would
again
come back.
That's the conversation I'm bringing to the table.
No.
Did we have an absence of memory in how James left here?
Again.
No.
Who owns the team? Who
Tillman
wants to sell
Fertitta. Last
tickets?
time I looked, I thought it was Tillman Fertitta.
Who wants to sell tickets? Tillman Fertitta.
Yeah.
James in Rock's uniform would sell tickets. Would it be a short-term fix? Yes. Would it be a long-term solution? No.
What's in it for James, though? I get it from the perspective, but what's in it for James?
I thought James wanted to win an NBA championship. I thought he wanted to win the NBA championship.
Right there. 8 times finals. Right there. That's part of it right there.
Okay.
That's part of it right there.
All right.
James loves Houston. Trust me. He loves Houston.
He was in Houston right before the Sixers started their playoff
he loves this city.
Okay. I mean, the state of Texas, because he doesn't have to pay.
There are other reasons.
He don't have to pay state income tax and
there are other reasons why he'd come back.
Okay, yeah, I hear you. I hear you, Chris.
We got you. I heard you.
No. There are other reasons as well.
All right.
They are not known to the public.
All right.
There are other reasons why he would come back and why he's considering coming back. So that's why, as a factor in the 7 out of 10 that Kelly Iko from The Athletic brought up a few weeks ago, that is a truly legit reason for him to return to Houston. So, all right.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are, in these final few moments of this edition of Folks Talking Sports with AD Moore, Willy Gibson, and Andy Yanez, want to give a shout out to everybody, Tony, No Saw, Jamon. But Andy Yanez interviewed Kris Pezman, the University of Houston Athletics Director, or I guess the official title, Vice President of Athletics. What is it?
He said you can call him Athletics Director.
Well,
Athletic Director.
That's what I call him. I don't, that title on the website. That's too long to say. But okay. I listened to the interview today. Andy, salute to you for getting past to talk to you. One of the things that struck me was it really sounded like UH was broke, or UH had no money for a long time, or limited budget for so long, and it limited what they could do in terms of marketing, in terms of making changes in coaches, and other factors that we have addressed for a long time here on Folk Talking Sports. Would you agree with that?
Oh, I think that's a fair takeaway to. I don't know about broke, but it sounds like they've been limited with that was something that was reiterated, limited with the amount of resources that they had.
Well, put limited resources. Let's go with that. Limited resources. He said
I think that would be fair.
Broke.
So limited resources means you don't have it, right?
Yep.
And if you don't have it, you broke, right?
Oh yeah, so broke.
I'm just saying. Yeah. I mean, I know y'all got to protect y'all. I get it, but I'm the outlier. I can say it. Yeah, that sounds like you broke. If you got limited resources, you broke.
Because one of the things I remember him saying is football revenue, football home games. Houston made like $1 million
compared to the Power Five. Yeah, he compared it to like 1.5 million. Comparing it to 5 million when you look at other Power Five,
other
or Big 12 schools.
Big 12 home games, be about 5 million. So there's a revenue gap there. Mr. Gibson, one more time, Mr. Gibson. How much money does Ohio State earn per home game?
Oh God, here we go.
Y'all said 1.5.
Yeah.
Take that.
You make that in the parking lot. You make that on your parking revenue.
Take that point out.
$15 million per home game, right?
Per home game.
Okay.
Jeez.
Say, Willie. I mean, Mr. Gibson.
Yes, sir.
The money they talking about, isn't that in Ohio State's petty cash fund?
Yep, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But the thing about it, the horseshoe is filled every game, every stadium. All right. The horseshoe doubles the size of the
100,000 compared to 40,000. Yeah.
Put it like this: the horseshoe has 75,000 last week for the spring game for practice, not the game. Allen Iverson, not the game, game. We talk about practice. 75,000.
And I'm going to give that. Boys, I better watch out. Keep watching the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel because we're about to blow up this year. Trust me and believe. Watch out. Okay. But, Andy, another thing, and I talked about it a lot ad nauseum. Pezman cited the 5,000 new season ticket holders in roughly, less than 2 months.
Yeah, well, yeah. April.
It sounds like, and fans are returning. Fans are spending whatever the season ticket number is.
At the end of the day, it all comes down to the buzz of the Big 12.
That's it.
That's why people are excited. That's why fans are buying season tickets. I will say this, and this was my biggest takeaway, and this is what I honestly went back when I went back and listened and transcribed it, because the biggest, if I could kick myself in the foot, I would, because at the end of the day, he said it right there. What it's going to come down to, not only being able to keep those new season ticket holders, but continuing that trend and continuing to grow that season ticket fan base when it comes to football. It's going to come down to competitive success. And that comes down to success on the football field. That comes down to winning games. And that comes down to being atop the Big 12 conference. It is not going to be good enough to be towards the bottom. Just to be in the Big 12, that's not good enough. And he said it. Kris Pezman said it. It's going to come down to competitive success. That was the phrase he said. And the reason I would kick myself in the foot is because I'll keep it PG, but I should have followed up what would be competitive success for football. And that's what we're going to find out over the foreseeable. That's what we're going to find out this season. That's what we're going to find out over the course of the next few seasons, because right now they're benefiting tremendously. The rekindling of the old rivalries from Baylor, the TCU, the Texas Tech. This season only Texas is going to come down to Houston. Again, they will win, by the way. I do got to say that. AD, I don't know if you know, but that's my guarantee that Houston will beat Texas.
One more time, October 21st.
Guarantee.
And I know, I don't care if they go 1-11. That's the one game they win. But I digress. At the end of the day, to be able to keep that momentum, keep that buzz, keep that positive momentum that they have, it comes down to winning football games. And that's what they have to do. And he gave the example of men's basketball. Men's basketball is the standard at the University of Houston. Mm-hmm. And he kind of painted the scenario when we first took over as athletic director, talking about Pezman. He said that men's basketball had less than 1,000 season ticket holders. And over the course of 2017, 18, 19, all the way to we are now, Houston just continued to keep winning and winning and winning until they got to a point where they just let's be honest, they had a chokehold in the American Athletic Conference. There was no team that was better than Houston over the course of the last 4 seasons than the Cougars in the American Athletic Conference when it comes to men's basketball. And this past season, they got to a point where they were selling out every game. They have a wait list. He said that they have over 1,000 accounts that are just waiting for the opportunity to be able to buy season tickets. And the reason, it's not because of the renovation to upgrade that. Obviously, now they have the Fertitta Center. It's not because of the TV cameras, which, by the way, he did address that, why it wouldn't be able to change.
We'll take on that in a second. Go ahead. Yep.
It's not because of the call of the quarter or anything like that. It comes down because the Houston Cougars men's basketball team has been successful. They are the best team in the American Athletic Conference. They're expected to be competing with the Big 12's best this upcoming season when they play in their inaugural season. And they have just built a culture of winning, which that's why they're selling out games, game in and game out. That's why against Alabama they had standing room seat tickets where literally people they went all across the concourse.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But Andy,
that's why it's winning, and
it's winning. Houston loves.
I will say this:
winning.
It does sound like the clock is ticking. Like they have to figure out a way to have that success on the football, and that's what it's going to come down to: winning games.
Well, I think.
Hold on, AD. Hold on, AD. Hold on.
Okay,
It comes down to winning, but getting back to the season ticket sales and the bump in the big, the buzz around the Big 12. It goes back to what I've said for a long time. Too many UH alums are buying tickets to see who the Cougs are playing rather than to see the Cougs. So, because it's been a talking point for Dana, talking point for Pez, this team has won 20 games the last 2 years. 12 wins, 8 wins. First time in a long time football has done that. Not a great success. I've bashed the bowl games all the time, whatever. They still haven't won the big ones. They won the Birmingham Bowl, Independence Bowl, yes. But the UH fans, football fans especially, are spending money to see Baylor, to see TCU, to see Texas Tech, Texas. They didn't want to see Memphis, SMU, UCF, Cincinnati.
Those were the only two.
Okay, but
they didn't want to see East Carolina.
They did not want to see Houston. Well, if you got your degree from University of Houston, it will help you pay your bills in your adult life. Why aren't you not going to see your alma mater play football? For a long time, well, we're not going to spend money because we're not in the Power 5. Okay, now we're in the Power 5. Now you're buying tickets. Football team not going to be very good this year. They're not. So then what? If they go 5-7 as projected by ESPN and other entities, what'll happen next year? Are you going to say, well, now we're not even winning? We got the rivalries back. We got in-state teams coming into our stadium, but we're not winning. So do you want to see the opponents, or do you want to see the Cougs? Because the money and revenue generated by ticket sales helps the athletic department, right? If you don't support the school, it makes it that much harder for the school to do anything else in athletics. AD, Will, you got it.
Well, you can take his first shot because I got about a couple of questions. Let me go ahead and take this first bite. First thing, this is what the TDEC holds. What, 44,000?
40,000.
40,000.
40,000.
Let me tell you something, guys. Big 12 or no Big 12, if you win it, if you can't consistently put 40,000 people in that stadium, I mean, I've heard all this consternation about we want to be this, we want to be that. You still got to go to the stadium. And the only way you got to go to the stadium, regardless of what you play, you still got to show up at the stadium. And if you're not showing up, heck, my alma mater up there in Huntsville, I mean, it's this 16,000+, they can come to the American Conference, and they know they already got plans to start expanding the stadium now. And which I didn't necessarily agree with as an alumnus for Sam Houston State. But the fact of the matter is they looking to expand and go in. You have a stadium right there in the neighborhood, and y'all can't consistently put 40,000 there in that stadium.
Consistently 25,000 in there, AD.
Regardless of the American Conference, regardless of the American Conference or not, guys. I mean, and here's the other thing. I don't know who's in charge of looking at the portal, but you know what? Everybody else is. I mean, they treating the portal like the NFL does now, like the NFL does free agency. That's what we have now in NC2A. That's free agency in college football now. And the thing about it, Houston is going to have to get on the stick. We've seen what Kelvin Sampson has done on the basketball side. We lost one player you lost a player to the portal. What you did? Okay, good. He left. Look what you picked up.
Right.
There needs to be some buzz about the football portal, and I'm not hearing it. And if it is, whoever's over there supposed to be doing the marketing, either somebody's getting a check, need to get a check back.
Ding, 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 right there. H-Town agrees with you right there.
Well, no, when it comes to the portal, the football team hasn't. They got one offensive lineman, but when it comes to Houston and the portal, it's been
it's going the other way. They've lost like 5 or 6 O linemen in the last 2 weeks. Yeah,
wow.
I mean, going back to March.
Woo!
Wow.
And what they're trying to figure out, well, what fans are trying to figure out is what's kind of the
might be 7, right? 7 O linemen, I think. Yeah.
Ryan's at Gokus.com had an article come out on Friday or Thursday, one of these days. But they have lost a lot of offensive linemen, and they're not entirely. The fans aren't entirely sure whether it's because of the offensive line coach that
you brought in from Tulane, I think.
Well, the one before, yeah, right. They brought Iman Nagavi from Tulane, but they don't know if the other O linemen are leaving because of the previous O line coach that left. So I mean, they have 1 week. They have until April 30 to be able to fill the gaps. And when Dana Holgerson spoke to us, now it's going to be 2 weeks from tomorrow, and he said that they were looking to fill a specific set of spots. And let me get that exact number. I want to say 11, but I want to make sure I have it right. I have it listed on one of my notes. But I would imagine now, unless if he was accounting for some of the players that were going to leave and have announced that they're going to leave after, but that number might have grown in a big chunk of them. He said that they were looking to fill 5 offensive lineman spots for depth purposes. That number might have grown over the course of the last few weeks. So
he mentioned in his segment he was on 365 Sports within the last 2 weeks. And I want to say he said they have 15 or so open spots, something like that, to fill via the portal.
Yeah.
That's a lot. At this time of the year.
What he told us in the spring, his final spring availability, he said they had 11 roster spots. Again, this was going to be 2 weeks from tomorrow, so it probably isn't even up to date now. And this was interesting. He kind of described a little bit of how they try to recruit when it comes to that offensive line position. Specifically, it doesn't matter what position it is. They have a certain set of number of players they want for each position. And he said that the offensive line number was 16 and that they needed 4 or 5 more offensive linemen to be able to get up to the number that they want in terms of being able to have people at that position. And again, that number might have grown over the course of the past week. Obviously, we don't know if they were accounting already for those players that were going to be leaving, or if they've been new players that decided to enter the transfer portal over the course of the past week. But the transfer portal closes April 30th, and once that closes, that's it.
And Will, I want to bring you in because marketing has been an issue. Lack of limited resources involves your personnel who you can hire, not hire, spots to fill. This is legit. Marketing has been understaffed for a long time.
Real quickly,
go ahead, Andy. Go ahead.
If I could just add on to one of the other comments that Kris Pezman mentioned in the interview was he said that there were going to be several announcements over the course of the next few weeks when it comes to personnel hires in the administrative side. So again, that's we shall see what those announcements are, but that's from an outside perspective, that's what you want to hear, that they're taking those steps, but they just haven't had enough people to be able to fill those spots. We're going to be interesting to see what kind of moves they do make over the course of the next few weeks.
So, Will, you hear that? They have not had enough people.
That's the word. To
fill the spots in administrative side, marketing, etc. And it's been years from the Power 2 conference that you cover.
Mm-hmm.
How do you respond to that?
A couple of reasons, couple of things. One, my initial response is how, because I'm sitting up here listening. I mean, does UH have a marketing program, a marketing major?
Yeah,
they do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you not be able to go to a marketing professor and say, hey, I need 7 of your top students to work with the athletic department, and we either would pay you a stipend, work study, or you get some type of co-op or credit for your class, And those students get college credit. They get paid, as well as the athletic department gets the opportunity to spread the word. I don't know. So I hear that, and I think it's excuses. You know, you may have limited resources, but there's still no reason. I mean, I'm sure there's 1AA or FCS schools now that if this was an FCS school, maybe I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. But I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh. But it just seems to me, it seems like there was no effort to make a change. It's like, we're comfortable here. We don't have the resources, so we're just going to stay here with no plan or purpose to how can we improve. And now that we're going to the Big 12, we have to improve.
Mm-hmm.
So, now we're going to be announcing some things in the next few weeks.
Under Tom Herman, things were much better, way more hype around the team and program. And of course, they were winning too, but the hype was legit. I mean, Tom Herman football for a while was like, because it's football, was bigger than UH basketball is now.
Tom Herman, help me. Where's he? Herman.
Somewhere up,
Florida,
some ties up there with Ohio State for a while. Something, like that too. But this comment, where was it from? Mr. Smith. Dana and UH football marketing is awful. He doesn't know how to hype his own program. Dana's got Andy, you were there when Dana said he was told to stay in his lane. When was it marketing or higher ups told him to stay in his lane when it comes to promotion, right?
He did say kind of stay in his lane, but yeah, he said that at the same 2 weeks from tomorrow.
So that's the problem. The face of your franchise, the face of your franchise has to stay in this lane. What is that?
Say, man, wait a minute, hold up, Mr. Gibson. Let me ask the question. The athletic director at Ohio State, that last name was Gene Green. Is it Gene Green?
Smith.
Gene Smith. Has Gene Smith walked down to Ryan Day's office and told him to stay in this lane when he's talking about promoting his program?
Never. I could say that with confidence. That would never happen. No.
So, I mean, one thing, Herman was very verbose, but they were winning. But this is when you have to do it, guys. Come on. What is stay in your lane? Anytime that head coach is out there, he's marketing for his program. Right. Anytime he opens his mouth and gets in front of a camera, that's marketing for U of H football.
Yes.
And
I don't understand I don't understand what that means, stay in your lane, because anytime you're out there, now there's been some things come out of his mouth make me scratch my head about him being a head coach and what he does. But the fact of the matter remains, when you tell somebody to stay in your lane, come on, that's your face.
And then do it. Okay. But see, the simple counter to that is this. Men's basketball, when asked about marketing this past season, Coach Kelvin Sampson said he only takes care of the team's performance. Let me give y'all,
there's a reason there's one person.
Well, yes. When Coach Kelvin Sampson took over, the first conference media day that he was at, AAC Media Day, probably in Philadelphia. Me and colleague Jerry Woodley were the only two media from Houston there at the media day in Philly, okay? It's like his first year, first year, coach was there. We talked about marketing and, different things. And basically said, guys, when I got here, I asked about marketing, I asked about promotions. And they're like, we don't have that. We don't have anybody in charge of doing that. And that's when I said, Lauren, you got it. Lauren, you take over, you do this. And Lauren's been doing it ever since, been doing a great job of it. Wow. There is no equivalent of Lauren Sampson for football. But with Lauren, Kelvin Sampson has also been out promoting, as AD said, promoting his team Because will you talk about it shouldn't be his job? It shouldn't be his job. It should be the job of the coach. But here, somebody got to do it if it's not being done.
Right. I agree. It shouldn't be his job, but at the same time, don't tell him to stay in his lane. What I mean, he's the face of the franchise.
Yes.
Bingo.
And you're telling him to stay. That's.
But see, he said that comment. Boy, there's some other stuff I can say right now on the air. I'm gonna tell you guys off the air that it's gonna blow your minds, fans. I'm sorry I can't share it publicly. Y'all are just freak out. But it's along those lines about Dana being told to stay in his lane. UH does things backwards. They've been doing things backwards for years since I was a student there. Okay, I told a story when I was a student there. When it was game week, football game week, there was zero promotion of it on campus. You couldn't see signs. You couldn't see hardly any mention of it if it was in maybe a school paper, maybe. But anything around, like on the marquees or any signs in the yard or on campus, got a game this week. None of that. None of that. I said that on radio, 30-some years ago. And some alums are like, shame on you, Chris, for talking about your program. And I'm like, am I wrong? I didn't say you were wrong, but put it out there for the public. Who's going to fix it then if nobody else knows about it? Andy, you've seen there's a better job of marketing about game week now and when you were a student there on campus. But when I was there, hell, man, come on, man. No way. It was, if we didn't know, if we weren't true diehard fans of football, it was an embarrassment. It was a disgrace. So that's the mentality that has been there for years for you when it comes to marketing. It's gotten a little better, but it's got so much further to go. What were you going to say?
I have a friend of mine. I just thought about this. I have a friend of mine. He interned in the athletic department when we were in school. He ran the gamut across the board. Operations, tickets, things of that nature. He began working in athletic communications, strategic communications. Got a bird's eye view of the entire program. But he started in promotions, marketing. Started, if I remember properly, wrestling, men's wrestling. And he started there, worked his way up, graduated, stayed with the program, worked his way up, became athletic director. You mentioned earlier Andy, Florida Atlantic. He was Florida Atlantic's athletic director. And now he's the athletic director at Washington State. His name is Pat Chung.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Chung. And I just think about, and now those are the types of things I think about. And this was 25, 30 years ago. I'm dating myself, but so when I hear of stuff, and I'm like, it seems basic. It seems elementary. And this is not to disparage anyone's character at all at UH. Not. But at the same time, I've seen it done. I know how it can be done. And I'm not perfect. I'm not omniscient and omnipotent at all. But, man, I don't understand. I don't.
We're going to wrap it up with that because we could do this for a while. But let's see. It's halftime of Boston Atlanta. Hawks are losing by 12 to the Celtics, 65-53. I want to thank AD Moore for joining us to talk football for the first part of the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you for the invite, guys. Chris,
you got fans who fans of you now, Mr. Moore. So AD Moore, the AD Max Korner, is on the Houston Roundball Review playlist. Look for a playlist, the AD Max Korner. A lot of stuff. Folks, I got a whole bunch of playlists on the YouTube channel. Let's Rage Cougs, the AD Max Korner, Folks Talking Sports, Let's Talk Houston Rockets, and then coaches, interviews, all other kind of playlists as well. So there's a lot of content here on the channel, but I wanted to get AD here so y'all can see who he is in case you don't know who he is.
A lot of people seem to enjoy it. They need to know that after every Houston Texans game during the regular season, I won't even mention postseason, but Yeah.
Won't be that. Won't be that for a while, Andy. So,
hey, if Brian D-Ball can come in there and win within the season and get the New York Giants turned around, hey, things can you get the right mix, a player or two here or there, things could get turned around. But let me just say this, guys, quickly. Thursday, the first round of the draft, be looking out. I'll probably be on both platforms depending on what's available. Be looking forward because we will have information. I will be coming live from the site, coming out NRG Thursday night, particularly because the Texans will be through early Thursday. and that, Willie, I see you smiling. I mean,
I didn't say that.
I see you smiling, man. Hey, man, but hey, that's what happens when you finish. When you finish at the bottom, you get to finish early at the top for the draft. But you know what?
Let me say this.
With the 12th pick.
Number 12.
Stroud at 2. I'll say Stroud at 2 and Smith and Jigba at 12. How about that?
Yeah, at 12. Yeah. That 12th pick might not be till what? 9 o'clock, 10:30, something like that.
No.
Oh God, my God, no.
I hope not. They're gonna use. Hey, trust me, they're gonna use all 15 minutes of that time allocated. That's because the first round is only for that Thursday night. Because it's like 12 picks, 15 minutes.
Would probably be. I would say
that's 3 hours.
Around 8:30.
Well, I don't want to disappoint you, but I don't think. I think. I mean, the kid you just mentioned about Z-Bat, he's a good receiver. But I think there's some other ones out here that might address our needs. And that's not a knock on him. I just think I'm a globalist now, and I need to see some high point receivers, man. And like I say, it could be one down there in the Bayou that might. I'm not necessarily saying he's a first round pick, but they might get him in the second or the third round. So we'll see.
Well,
that would be awesome.
Go ahead, Will.
The 2022 Rose Bowl and the 2022 Ohio State-Nebraska game.
Yeah. All right, Will. Right. You just talked about it. How can folks find you on social media?
All right, boss. I appreciate you as always. Social media, Instagram as well as Twitter at Will Gibson 7. Will Knows on Facebook.
AD, you got a fan of No Salt, and I'm gonna put it out there as well. I had AD on the show. I asked him to come on the show because I'm dragging him to make him produce some content for the draft. So I had to get his behind on the show to see he come out here so fans know who he is. So, Mr. Moore, you got a fan right here, No Salt.
No Salt. Yeah, she can catch me on Twitter, AD_Moore64, admaxkorner.com, admaxkorner, YouTube, and plus and when you guys not in the spotlight, and when I saw Andy Yanez with the sunlight shining on him at the Final Four and the Final Two, I'll jump on the platform there on the Houston Roundball platform as well in during the season. But hey, guys, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, we all independents. We all guys are on our own. We can prove that we don't need somebody else. We know it. We love it. We walk it. We eat it. We breathe it. And we just want to be, we are passionate about what we do. But one thing about it, I'll say this. I won't lie to you. I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to tell you how I feel. I'm going to tell you the truth. If it hurts your feelings, okay, here's a Kleenex. Go down there and dap your eyes. But I'm going to just tell you the truth. And that's just the way it is. I've seen it. I've seen quite a bit, and I appreciate it. Thank you guys. And it's my privilege to be on. Will Gibson thought he could slide into this city. What was it last year? You tried to slip in the city, and I'm walking through the press box. Yep. Will trying to sit here, and I'm going like, Willie trying to be, you're trying to be incognito, and I'm going like, like I'm MI6 or somebody. I just walk over there and bust it. Hey, Will, what's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah, you dropped dime on me too. Hey, all right, I'll say it now. Browns will be back in Houston. I am coming. I will be in the city. We will chop it up.
Look forward to it. All right, Andy, how can folks find you, my man?
Yes, sir. They can follow me on Twitter at @Yanez_5. And now that StreamYard has added the luxury of being able to have the headline, it's basically a second line. You can also be sure, more importantly, to go to www.youtube.com at Potsdam Jamma, where you can subscribe to the Potsdam Jamma YouTube channel. And if you haven't done so, check out the full interview with athletic director at the University of Houston, Kris Pezman. We also had a good interview the day before with Dayon Dunlap and I, where we talked with University of Houston 2023 signee Parker Jenkins, is a running back 4-star that's going to be playing in the upcoming, or he's going to be with the Houston Cougars in the upcoming season as they have their inaugural Big 12 run. Real quickly, number 2 and number 12 for Houston. Obviously, those are going to be the headlines. God, take a quarterback at number 2. I'll leave it at that. And I do want to bring Alan Train, Tank Dell, whether he goes in the second round, whether he goes in the third round, he has talent. And at the end of the day, talent prevails all. Whatever team gets Tank Dell, this is going to be me putting I think they'll get a steal wherever he goes in the second or third round.
What you got, Will? What you got?
Real quick. It happened Final Four weekend, so I didn't get a chance to tell you guys, but he was in Cleveland for a top 30 visit. And word is he is the best route runner in the draft.
He's got talent. He's going to be a steal. Whoever takes him in the second or third round, he's going to be a steal.
Appreciate that, Will. Thank you for that info. And everybody, for Alan, Mr. Smith, No Salt, Tony M, J-Mon, In Orbita, H-Town, Big Dobbs, Mr. Smith again. Just want to salute everybody. This is what we are trying to do. So this is one of my goals. Not just talking basketball, Rockets. I do that, talk Cougs as well. But as has been told by my alma mater, the Houston Roundball Review is a media group. Okay? Media group. So cover more than just basketball. Mr. Moore has been credentialed to cover the big game the last 2 years under the Houston Roundball Review umbrella. So it's not just basketball here. Still looking for a baseball person. Might have somebody for that, for the Astros come summertime. Branching out. So, but the show, Andy's part of it. Will's part of it. We were on the lunch break this past Thursday, part of the BS3 network, live from noon to 1 on Roku on the BS3 network. Download that app. That's what it is. BS3 network on Roku. You can watch the show. A lot of shows, a lot of content on there. So we are branching out. If you want to sponsor, hit me up, Gardner at thehrr.com. We are growing. The Houston Roundball Review in some form or fashion will be at the Big 12 Football Media Day in July. We got we didn't touch on it, other dates for Will. Big 10 Media Day is in Indianapolis.
Yep.
End of July, like the 25th or so. Will, something like that? 25th, 26th?
I believe something to confirm that date, but that sounds correct, yes.
Let me see if I still got that. Got it up here. Let's see. It's not cooperating for me. But anyway, Big 12 is July 12th and 13th in Arlington. Man, the SEC got 4 days. 4 days for the football media day. That just blows my mind. But anyway.
That's normal. That's normal practice for them.
Yeah.
But that's what the big boys do. So yeah. But thank you to everybody for chiming in your comments. And No Salt, I took your suggestion about adding some of the sound effects. I just put it together roughly 20 minutes before today's show, putting those clips together. Got more in store. And the clips you heard Saturday in the Let's Talk Houston Rockets, that was from Jackson Gatlin. So Jackson added those sound effects via his platform on the show, and he gave me the idea of doing that for this show. So old man got new toys, so look out. So,
real quickly before we sign off, you do need to give a shout out to the Houston Cougars men's golf team in Santiago de la Fuente that won. They are conference champions. Santiago won the American Athletic Conference individual championship in men's golf, and the men's golf team won the team championship in the American Athletic Conference. So they ended their conference year in the American with a bang.
And he won by, was it right? By 10 strokes? Is that right?
Wow.
Something like that. Something.
Yeah, 10 under 200. So he killed it.
Hey, Andy, quickly, let me ask a question. With the championships that the Cougars keep piling up, aren't they in the process of winning the President's Cup? That's the one that gets the most champions, the overall conference school championship.
For the American?
Yeah.
Oh,
Should they be?
They have 4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, this is something that needs to be put out there. Hey, man, come on, guys, you dominating.
Well, that's why we're here, AD. Because if UH is going to do it, we'll do it here on this platform.
Just tell them what to send the check. Just tell them he's going to send the check.
Yeah, that's facts.
Honestly, I hadn't heard about it before that, so we'll see. I know they have 4 in volleyball, swimming and diving, obviously men's basketball, and the men's golf team that won it today. So that's 4.
Yeah, go back and start looking at the criteria. I think they should be running for the President's Cup for the one, the school, the athletic department that has come up with the most championships.
We'll see. We did not talk about the Tank Ryan Garcia fight. Boy, Tank landed a perfect left hook right there to Ryan's. Boy, what is this? Liver, kidneys, whatever. And that delay reaction, and the King is moving up in weight, and Tank is going to stay where he is and wreaking havoc. It was a good fight. A lot of fun there. Everybody, thank you. Tune in this Thursday on the lunch break. May get another colleague on a draft edition on the lunch break. See if I can get. I'm not going to say who yet, and also, if you haven't seen it, my interview with the vice president of Big 12 men's basketball, Mr. John Williams, that's also available on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. Please. He said plenty of things that you did not know, stuff I didn't know. Dropped some gold, some gems about scheduling, upcoming events planned for the Big 12 in preseason, going to Mexico, a lot of different things. And he's just my first interview of Big 12 big wigs that I have in store. Folks, the Houston Roundball Review Media Group. Support us. Thank you. Tell your friends about us. Willy, AD, Andy, thank you. And this has been a blast. I appreciate everybody taking time out to share their insight and their opinions. And we'll see you in a few days. Everybody take care. Peace.
That's our shout out Corey Jukes making